Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shrutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagmsastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om, salutations to all. So we are seeing the 6th chapter, the question asked to Pipalada Rishi, and here we find is very interesting. What I found is when Sukesha asked the question to Pipalada Rishi, he asked because Hiranya Nabha, a prince, asked him about Shodashakala Purusha. So in my research, one interesting fact came out, and that is that Hiranya as it is mentioned, is a prince of Kosala, Kosal Pradesh. Now, so Kosal Pradesh it is, so when we investigate the genealogy of the Kosal kings, we find that Hiranya is the 15th descendant of Bhagavan Ram. See that. And where is this mentioned? In the Srimad Bhagavat's 9th Skandha, chapter 12. So Bhagavan Ram, Kush, Atithi, Nishad, Nabha, Pundarik, Shamadhanva, Devanika, Aniha, Pariyatra, Balasthala, Vajranabha, Khagan, Vidhruti, Hiranyanabha, 15. And he was a disciple of Jaimini, and he was also a teacher of yoga. He had also learned a lot of spiritual knowledge, so Adhyatma Yoga. All this is there in the 3rd and the 4th shloka of that same chapter. So the Upanishads, also when they mention the name, it is not just some imaginary character. That's the point. And the way in which the genealogy, etc., is there in the Puranas, in the Itihasas, that is our history. That's the way we have documented. We have not necessarily documented everything the way today's historians document. So, Shodashakala Purusha he asked about, and where is that Shodashakala Purusha? So, we saw that the whole creation is referred to as Shodashakalaha. The whole creation is constituted of 16 aspects, and those 16 aspects are called Shodashakala. And so Shodashakala means Prapancha, this world, Srishti. And when we add Purusha to that, meaning when we connect this expression together, Shodashakala Purushaha, so that means the Karana Brahma, the cause of this world. What is the cause of this world is that Supreme Purusha, from where these 16 aspects come. So when we ask the cause is the cause of the universe, that Supreme Brahman becoming Ishvara becomes the creator. So that creator is appearing as this world, and this world indicates the creator. And that's the importance of Shodashakala Purusha. Through Shodashakala, through this universe, we can go to Purusha. We realize Purusha. Because every aspect here is an appearance of Purusha only. And when we see this creation, from where it came, if we ask, then the source is Purusha. So the objective is that not to classify the world only into 16 aspects and then say that, oh, the world has more than 16 aspects and this classification is not complete. That is not the purpose of the Veda. The Upanishad mantra is to say that using this creation, how can we go to the creator? And who is the creator? Consciousness alone. It cannot be any inert matter, it cannot be shunya, it cannot be anything else. It has to be only consciousness, because consciousness pervades this whole universe. So it was said that that Purusha thought, Sha Ikshan Chakre, that is what we saw in the third mantra, and then the whole elaborate discussion between Vedantin and the Sankhyan, that how Purusha alone is the Karta and Bhokta as per Vedant, if we consider creation as real. It cannot be that Purusha is a Karta and only the Bhokta, and Prakriti is a Karta but not the Bhokta. So now in the fourth mantra, the sequence of creation is brought out. And very interesting it is, this chain of thought, that from Shodashakala we go to Purusha. The question that was asked is, where is that Shodashakala Purusha? And the third mantra, second mantra, he said it is here, iha eva anta sharire. So the cause of the entire universe is right here in our heart. It's not somewhere outside there. So that difference in Vedanta and the other philosophies is what we have to understand here. That what is the objective of the study of Vedanta is to realize oneness with that cause of the universe and with the world. Because that same cause is appearing as the three, Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Not knowing that, we think of ourselves only as miserable jivas, and then this world is separate from us, then God is separate, and whether he exists, doesn't exist, all kinds of questions. So the purpose of studying Shodashakala Purusha is to realize that I am that pure consciousness, which is the Shodashakala Purusha. The whole creation comes from that supreme consciousness, which is my true nature. So now, how did that Purusha create? So here it is said, earlier mantra it was said he created. He first thought, what is that which if it departs, I depart, if it remains, I remain. And there the answer was not given. The answer is prana. So now here you see the fourth mantra, we had just seen the literal meaning last time. Shankaracharya ji, in his connection between third and fourth, is Ishwarena eva sarvadhikari pranaha purushena srijyate katham. So this Ishvara alone created. What did he create? That factor which if it remains, he remains, if it goes, he departs. Meaning from the equipment, from individual equipment. So if prana departs, everything will end for that jiva. Meaning that body will end. As long as prana is there, that body is there. So the life-giving factor here, prana means the vital energies. Prana here does not mean consciousness, because consciousness is only now creating. So that Ishvara first created prana. All powerful Ishvara, he created the prana. Now this itself is the point to think about, that prana is vital energy. Ishvara created prana. Ishvara is not prana. When we say God is energy, God is not energy, please. God created energy, or appears as energy. Created in the sense, Bhagavan only appears as all the 16. So that clarity one should have. We also repeat just blindly. So many people who appear to be so-called scientific, I don't believe in some God out there. I believe God is an energy. God is power. These some inaccurate statements, some of these are. How can God be energy? He created energy. Energy comes and goes. That is what he said earlier. If it stays, the life is there. If it departs, life is not there. That which is continuously coming, going, modifying, changing, how is that God? That has to be changeless substratum only can be God. So, sa pranam asrajata. And where the expression given here is like a king. Ishwarena eva sarvadhikari pranaha purushena srijyate. With that authority, or what we can say, that glory, is the king of the whole universe. Not small one little kingdom. King of the whole universe, and with that power he created. What did he create? Prana. So the mantra says 16 items now mantra mentions. That is the fourth mantra. Sa pranam asrajata pranat shraddha kham vayu jyotir apaha prithvi indriyam manaha annad viryam tapo mantraha karma lokaha lokeshu cha namacha. 16 items. Now these 16 items are created to remember these 16. There is a nice division one can do of the 16 items in terms of what are created externally, what are created internally, and what is the Shastra, what is created. These three. So what are created externally, meaning which one can experience outside also. So kham vayu jyoti rapa prithvi anna virya nama and prana. 9 things created externally. We say, Swami, how can prana come externally? See, the point of this here is that prana is created externally because it is the life-giving force, which then comes into the body and then departs from the body. That's why we are counting it as external. So 9 items external. What are internal items? So Shraddha, Indriyam, Manaha. Internal. So 9 plus 3, 12. Remember, Indriya means 10 senses, but in this mantra it is counted only as 1. In 16 itself it is counted as 1. So we are classifying this as, counting this only as 1. So Shraddha, Indriyam, Manaha, 3 internal. Then what is the Shastra creation, four things. Mantraha, tapaha, karma, and loka. Now I say loka, how can loka not be external? See, the point to understand here is this is a division just for a memory aid. And also I will tell you the significance. The lokas, we don't refer to as gross physical lokas which are perceptible through the naked eye. That's why it is not in the external. They are subtler realms of consciousness. So they are classified under the creation which is connected to the Veda, to the Shastra. And also the Veda Praman is required for us to understand lokas exist. Directly we can't see. Which is not available for Pratyaksha Praman. So, and that's the thing people say, who has seen that? So how can it exist? That's the whole point. Nobody has seen that through physical eye, but one has experienced that as a jiva. And great masters have cultivated those abilities by which they can even travel to lokas and come back. For that purity of mind and those psychic capabilities are required. Regular person with the physical eyes, we can't see. So they are created, so they are not in the external. So 16, 9 plus 3 plus 4, 16 items. Now why this is important to understand? Because otherwise this looks very random and there is no, there is not necessarily always a sequence in the 16. Within the 16 you may find a sequence. So we will have, so Kham, Vayu, Jyoti, Rapa, Prithvi. There is one sequence. One may say Annad, Viryam, there's a sequence. We eat food, we get vitality. But all this is not necessarily only in a particular sequence. And it is not that, this 5 elements, when they are created, so before that is prana and before that is, before that is Shraddha and before that is prana. So prana and Shraddha are more subtler. So there is a order in certain places, but not necessarily everywhere. That's the point. Now this, once it has been created, now let us see the basic meaning of it. We already saw. Let us see the commentary now. Sa Purushaha Ukta Prakarena Ikshitva. So it was said Ikshan Chakre. Sa Ikshan Chakre in the previous mantra. So he thought, Purusha thought. Again, I'm using he only because referring to the language, because of language limitation. It's not that Purusha is a man. Purusha is genderless, infinite consciousness. So Sa Purushaha Ikshan Chakre, that Purusha, because he thought, as it was mentioned earlier, Ukta Prakarena, Pranam Hiranyagarbhakyam Sarva Prani Karana Adharam Antaratmana Atmanam Asrijata Srishtavan. So who is this? What is the first creation? Purusha creates prana. Now what is that prana? Simple meaning is vital energies as life, the energizing aspect. But here the deeper meaning is prana here means the total subtle body, the Hiranyagarbha. And so he says prana Hiranyagarbhakyam. And what is that Hiranyagarbha? Hiranyagarbha is in the hearts of all. So all the minds of all the jivas put together is the total subtle body, that is called Hiranyagarbha. And where is it to be experienced? Sarva Prani Karana Adharam. It is the cause of all the jivas. And as we know, the cause will pervade the effect also. Like the mud is the is the cause, and the mud will pervade all the pots. So in that same way, that Hiranyagarbha is not just some entity up there, and we personify Brahmaji as Hiranyagarbha, but that Hiranyagarbha is in the effects in all the jivas also. So that's why he says Antaratma Karanam Adharam Antaratmanam Asrijata Srishtavan. The Antaratma, meaning the indweller in all of us, is that one entity only, appearing as so many. Like that one sun is reflecting in so many pots of water. The delusion is for us to think that we are this one equipment and we are having this small little part of that consciousness. So we think that I am one part of consciousness. That is why identified with one BMI. It's like, one small part of sun is there in this bucket of water. It is not there. The sun itself is reflected there, and that reflection is not real. The sun is real. Same way, the infinite consciousness manifesting in each body is actually infinite consciousness only. It's not one part. All the jivas put together will not make the consciousness. Consciousness is not split into so many parts. All the waves put together can't make the ocean. The ocean is much, much bigger than that. But the water in that wave is the same water which is there in the entire ocean. And there is no difference. In that same way, there is one consciousness alone. And that consciousness is appearing as all this. And so this is Hiranyagarbha is not out there alone. Hiranyagarbha is in here. Each one of us in our essential nature are one with that. Which is why the upasana is done like that. When we say, akara, ukara, makara, upasana, we saw in the Prashnopanishad, it came earlier. Monday onwards, we are doing that Om meditation. So, what is that ukara upasana there? I drop the jiva bhav saying, I am not this jiva, I am one with that total subtle body, I am that Hiranyagarbha, the cause of this entire universe. Consciousness identified with the total mind is Hiranyagarbha. I am that. I am not this one individual jiva. That is the sadhana one does, to drop the jiva bhav. And what is that Hiranyagarbha? Consciousness alone. With relation to the individuals, it is called total. But without the individual, there is no total and there is only one consciousness. I am that. So that's why Hiranyagarbha, it is said here, Shankaracharya says, Atmanam asrijata, Antaratmanam asrijata srishtavan. So first he created Hiranyagarbha, which is the total subtle body. Ataha pranat shraddham, sarva praninam shubha karma pravritti hetu bhutam. From that prana, the Hiranyagarbha is Shraddha. It is very interesting, it is. What Shankaracharya has called Shraddha as, he says it is the base for all the beings to do good work, is Shraddha. How interesting is that? That's his definition. That is the source of stimulus for all beings for good action, is Shraddha. Why Shraddha is required for good actions? Because Shraddha is required in dharma to do good actions. Shraddha is required in the law of karma also, that when we do good, we will get the good result. So if one really has Shraddha in the Shastra, Shraddha in karma, Shraddha in dharma, then one will be able to do so many good things. In spite of sometimes facing setbacks, disappointments, if this is understood very clearly, my Shraddha will never break. Actually, that is only called Shraddha, which is not breakable. That which breaks, that is called belief. It just comes and goes. As long as everything is conducive, yes, I believe in God, I believe in law of karma, I believe there is nyaya, there is dharma, all this. The moment that what I want I don't get, or some disappointment happens, then our Shraddha breaks. Then that was never Shraddha, it was only some vague belief. So when Shraddha is there, then Shraddha is required in what? It is required in that which is adrishta. What is drishta, it is not, there is no Shraddha required. That two molecules of hydrogen will mix with one molecule of oxygen. Shraddha is not required. Jnana is already there in it. You can see it. But what is not perceptible to the senses, cannot be felt by the mind, cannot be thought of the buddhi by the buddhi, for that Shraddha is required. What is dharma and what is the effect of dharma? That person who follows dharma will be able to attain the purity of mind and realize the truth. Or that dharma is Bhagavan himself. One of the name of Bhagavan Vishnu in Vishnu Sahasranam is Dharma. Dharmo Dharma Viduttamaha, it comes there. He is Dharma. And so Dharma is not some ordinary, we say ethics and morality and some code of conduct written in some Dharma Shastras. That is an expression of Dharma. Dharma is Bhagavan himself. And so when we say Dharma Rakshati Rakshitaha, one who protects Dharma, Dharma protects that person. And that is a fact. If I follow the Deha Dharma, then the body will be healthy. And I don't follow Deha Dharma, how body will be healthy? If I follow good values, I am creating good karmas, it will come back to me only, that karma phala. So this Shraddha in Dharma, in karma, in Ishvara, when one has, that becomes the source of good action. And here he says, Shubha karma pravritti hetuhu, hetu bhutam. That is Shraddha. I should ask myself that, is my Shraddha the cause for good actions in the world? First of all, do I have belief or do I have Shraddha? That is a question to ask. Then, if I have Shraddha, then is it prompting me to do good things in the world, or is it making me scared? Real Shraddha will not make me scared. But confusion, when it is there, then it will make me scared. I am a very God-fearing person. If you have Shraddha in Bhagavan, why should you have fear of God? Have fear of doing something wrong in our own mind, that we can have, that, why our mind is very unpredictable, so I should be alert. There's not a fear, but one has to be alert, one has to be cautious. But there is no need to fear God. God is of the nature of love, compassion, happiness, bliss. Why to fear God? So if Shraddha is there, it will help me to do good things. It will help me to share this knowledge more and more. It will help me to walk the righteous path without compromise. And here actually Shankaracharya has gone one step ahead. He said, Ataha pranat shraddham sarva praninam, is not only human beings, of all the beings. For all the beings, Shraddha is a source of good action. Now, human beings we can still understand. What about other beings? See, they don't have self-awareness. But law of karma still works, no? And they follow the instinct, so that itself is protecting them. We have a definition of Shubha and Ashubha, that if a tiger kills a deer, then that is Ashubha. But that is the dharma of that tiger. The tiger is carnivorous, created like that, it will follow its own instinct. And it will not kill just for the sake of entertainment, enjoyment. It will kill when it is hungry, otherwise it will not kill. So nature governs them. And human beings can see the natural laws functioning in the plants, birds, animals, and what all capacities they have, and how each one has peculiar abilities also. And many of them are, one wonders, what is the beauty of nature and how the whole Srishti is, and how Bhagavan created so many jivas. Every jiva has some uniqueness. It's just fascinating. So for human being to look at other beings, also it can increase Shraddha in that Ishvara. And for those beings, anyway, they don't have self-awareness, so they don't know that faith is important for them. But we can learn and understand. Sarva praninam shubha karma pravritti hetu bhutam. Tataha, so from Shraddha, karma phala upabhoga sadhana adhishthanani karana bhutani mahabhutani asrujata. So from Shraddha are created the 5 elements which will become the cause for the further equipments to be made, and the bodies that the jivas need, and the minds that the jivas need, senses that the jivas need. So the 5 great elements which are the cause of these equipments, they are created. So what are these 5? Kham, space. And what is the property of space? Shabda gunam, sound. Then vayum, svena sparshena karana gunena cha vishishtam dvigunam. So this vayu, from space comes air. So the property of space, which is sound, plus the property of air, which is touch. So vayu has both properties. Sparshena karana gunena cha. Sparshena is the capability of touch, and karana guna is the guna of the space, because the space is karana of vayu. So dvigunam. So vayu has 2 qualities. Then तथा ज्योतिः स्वेन रूपेण पूर्वाभ्याम च विशिष्टम त्रिगुणम शब्द स्पर्शाभ्याम. So then from air comes fire. And what is the special quality of fire? So the ability to see, and the earlier 2 qualities. So one can see fire, one can touch fire, one can hear the sound of fire. All the 3. Tatha apaha rasena gunena asadharanena purva guna anupraveshena cha chaturgunaha. So what is the special quality? Asadharana guna means the special quality of water is taste. Rasena gunena asadharanena. And purva guna anupraveshena. So the earlier 4 gunas. Earlier 3 gunas, sorry. So the sound and the sight and the touch, and then the form, and then the taste. All 4. And the last, tatha gandha gunena purva guna anupraveshena cha panchagunaha prithvi. So gandha guna is of the prithvi, smell, and plus the other 4. So all the 5 we can experience with earth. You can see, hear, taste, smell, touch the earth. 4 we can do with the water. We can see, we can taste, you can touch, you can hear the water flowing, all that. So like that, each guna, each element, the subtler element has lesser properties, the grosser element has more properties. Subtler element is more pervasive, grosser element is less pervasive. Because it has more properties, it is less pervasive. And so it is grosser. So now this is the way the sequence of creation happens. A sequence of 5 elements comes about. Very interesting if you see the 16 items which are there. This is the comprehensive view of creation in Sanatana Dharma. The subtler aspects as well as the grosser aspects are combined together, then that is called creation. Science looks at creation only from physical aspect. That's it, nothing more than that. If you look at this here, the sense capabilities, the mind, then the the Vedic karmas, and then the upasanas, tapaha, and then the lokas. All that is a part of creation. And if we think that only physical reality is the reality, nothing else exists, then we are actually then being primitive. That is called being primitive. Only connected to the body and what body can perceive. That is primitive thinking. Not that this subtler thinking, this is called primitive by people, unfortunately. This is not scientific. Show me scientific method. What scientific method? Only one part of creation science bothers about, and that is the physical part. That also they cannot explain properly. They keep contradicting each other. Big Bang happened, Big Bang didn't happen. Oh, very good. It has its relevance for the physical world, no doubt in that, and science is an evolving process. It will take its own journey, but everything can't be measured through science. And Upanishads, etc., are much more subtler, and Vedas are much more deeper and much more comprehensive to understand. And they give us a much more better holistic worldview. So it is always better to have the Vedic worldview, which looks at the world in its comprehensiveness, because this gross world is only a physical manifestation. You will see that mantra comes next mantra. From that Purusha only the whole creation manifests, in it stays, and into Purusha the creation goes back. So the way in which the creation manifests is from subtler to grosser. Does the science even say this subtler to grosser creation in the gross creation itself? Space, air, fire, water, earth, what we say, that is the tanmatras. And from space comes air, then fire, then water, then earth. That sequence itself, science does not tell. Maybe some portions of it may tell. But these 5 elements are the tanmatras. They are not even the grossified 5 elements which we are seeing. What we see are the grossified 5 elements as per Vedanta, which has gone through that Panchikarana process. So subtle tanmatras to can't be perceived at all. Physically what we are seeing, this is not the space. A lot of people ask, Swamiji, how is space? How is sound the quality of space? Sound requires a medium to travel. Air is required, then only sound will travel. And there is no medium. If the medium is not there, how sound will travel? And space is empty, so how sound will travel? This space what we are seeing is the grossified space. And this space what is being referred to is the tanmatra. And tanmatra is having the capability. It does not mean that there is a space and the sound is traveling inside that. The capability of hearing, of sound, that is in this, not hearing, sorry, the capability of the sound, that Shabda Guna is in this Tanmatra, which is a subtle 5 element, which is only space by itself. It has nothing else. This gross 5 elements, what we are seeing is after the whole Panchikarana process. Tattva Bodh gives us that whole process. Many other books, Atma Bodh, all of them will give. Vivek Chudamani, Prakarana Grantha will give. So 5 elements, each one divides into 2 halves. And then this 1 half of that will further divide into 4 parts. So 1/8 it will become. And each of those 1/8 parts will merge with the other 4 elements. So space will have half of space, 1/8 of air, fire, water, earth. Same way with all the other elements. That is the grossified 5 elements. That is what creates this universe. That is the theory of creation in Vedanta. Causal creation, subtle creation, then gross creation. And what is the proof of that? Our own body is the proof of that. This gross body is the grossest form. Subtler is the mind and intellect. Subtler than that is the vasanas. And the enlivener of all this is consciousness. Today, slowly they are understanding, no, human being is a psycho-physical animal, and then whatever is the thoughts that will affect the body, mind-body connection, all that. Thousands of years before the great masters, they have said it, and these people rejected all that and made us feel that we are primitive. This is very advanced. To come to this only, it will take many years. Physical research one goes on doing. So anyway, the point is to understand this, that this is the sequence of creation of the subtle five elements. Tatha taireva bhutaihi arabdham indriyam dviprakaram buddhyartham kamartham cha dasha samkhyakam. And after creating these five elements, which are tanmatras, then the senses are created for the enjoyment as well as for perception, for knowledge. So here he says that so he created indriyas, the organs constituted by those elements themselves, and which are of two types, the jnana indriya and karma indriya. So there are five jnana indriyas, five karma indriyas, which is what he said here, buddhyartham, karmartham. So buddhyartham means knowledge, and karmartham means action. So perception and action, senses of knowledge, senses of action. Perception meaning I meant buddhi, so knowledge, sorry, not perception and action, knowledge and action. So jnana indriya and karma indriya. So 10 senses are created. Then dasha sankhyakam. Tasya cha ishwaram antastham samshaya sankalpa lakshanam manaha. Tasya cha ishwaram. Who is the lord of these senses? Meaning these senses can do only their activity. Eyes can only see, ears can only hear. Eyes cannot replace the ears, ears can't replace the nose. They cannot substitute. They will become heightened if one faculty is not working. That's a different matter. If eyes are not there, then the ears and the touch, etc., will become much more sharper. That's a different matter. But the job of the eye cannot be done by anyone else. So each sense faculty will do only its own job. Then all this is coordinated together so that we have one comprehensive experience that is done by its Lord. Who is the Lord of the senses? Is the mind. Tasya cha ishwaram antastham. Where is it? Inside, in this gross body. It is functioning through the brain. But what is that? It is the mind. Mind is that which is functioning through the brain. Like we work out of the, today we should say we work from home. We are not the home. We are working from the home. Same way, mind is not the brain. Mind is functioning through the brain. So, tasya cha ishwaram antastham samshaya sankalpa lakshanam manaha. Now, what is the nature of that mind? Being indecisive. Sometimes it takes sankalpa, then again it changes it. It comes into doubtful state. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha. So that is this. So now mana includes all. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar. All. Subtle body has got created. Now he says, evam praninam karyam karanam cha srishtva tasthiti artham vriha yavadi lakshanam annam. Now having created this subtle body as well as the gross body, both are included in this. When it is said manaha, then all the subtle faculties are included in that. So sense capabilities, 5 pranas, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all that is included. And when it is said these organs, then the gross body it means, because without the gross body, the organs will not be there. So we have to understand these words are indicative. So indriyam and manaha. Mana is a subtle aspect. Indriyam is a capability actually, but it also can be taken in the implication of the organ. So ability to see is actually the indriya, and this is the golaka. The eye is the golaka, the equipment for the ability to see, to manifest. So indriyam here will mean both. So this subtle body has got created. Now, a gross body also got created. Now, to sustain both these, the food is created. So, karya karanam cha srishtva, that's sthiti artham. So, vriha yavadi. So, all these grains, they are created. Vriha yavadi lakshanam annam. The food is created basically. Paddy and the jawar and the wheat and so all the cereals, corn, everything. Food, basically food, not just the cereals. All types of food is created. Tatascha annadyamanad viryam anna adyamanad, because by eating food, viryam, what is created? Vitality, vital energy. Samarthyam, balam, capability, strength. Sarva karma pravritti sadhanam, the energy to do all actions, that comes from the food. Tad viryavatam cha praninam tapo vishuddhi sadhanam sankirya mananam. Now when bala is there, people can do anything. And when they don't know their temperament, so varna vyavastha, they are not able to follow. Or when they know it, still they don't follow it. Possibilities are so many. So if a person goes beyond their temperament and does something not conducive as per their temperament, then that is called Varna Sankara. So if Varna Sankara has happened, one has gone from Swadharma into Paradharma. Varna Sankara literally means that, going from Swadharma to Paradharma. That is called Varna Sankara. It's not that Varna Sankara means a Brahmin person marries Kshatriya, so Varna Sankara has happened. Varna Sankara actually means that when a person is not doing what they are meant to do, what is their Swadharma, based on their guna, they are not doing their karma. And just because of birth and then some notion of superiority, inferiority, all that happened, that is called Varna Sankara. So the Varna Vyavastha based on guna and karma deteriorates and it takes up some other form, that is Varna Sankara. So if that Varna Sankara has happened, then to make that person come back to their own temperament, because one has fallen into some wrong patterns of behavior. So it is said, to purify their mind, sadhanas are created. What is that? It is referred to as tapaha. So if you see in the mantra, we have annad viryam, then after that is tapaha. Tapaha mantraha. So mantraha indicates the Vedas, tapaha indicates upasana, and karma indicates the rituals. So these mantras indicating Veda, those mantras reveal how this karma should be done and how upasana should be done to purify the mind and again come back to one's own varna and do the work with dedication to Bhagwan, purify and realize the truth. So the last four, not last four, the four aspects of Shastra, what we discussed, mantraha, tapaha, karma and loka. These four are actually the exit path for this Purusha to realize Brahman. Oh Swamiji, how will Loka become exit path? Loka also is exit path only, because when we go to in other Lokas, experience, again come back to earth, then Vairagya will come that what is the point of seeking Swarga Loka and other places? Might as well realize the truth. So using the Vedic mantras, do the karma properly, do the upasana properly, become fit to study the Upanishad, go to the Guru, learn the knowledge, get exit. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, exit. So that's the path of exit. Nivritti marg. So pravritti, till this much is pravritti, then nivritti also is indicated. So the creation includes both pravritti and nivritti, both margs. So that's the subtler meaning here of that. So to purify the mind, tapa is to be done to come back to varna. See, because we don't even know. Initially, one doesn't even get the knowledge. Satsang one has not had. Society pressure is there. In society also, there are people who are ignorant. So one is seeing all those things and just living somehow. Everybody wants to do engineering. I will also do. Array, what are you made for? What is your temperament? Is it natural inclination of yours? Many times one doesn't think all that. So when all that has happened, when one has gone into some confusion about one's own swadharma, etc., then tapas, etc., satsang, all that will help to come back. So that's why he says, mantraha, tapaha, vishuddha antar bahi karanebhya, karma sadhana bhuta, rig, yaju, sama, atharvangirasaha. So the Vedas are created so that the person gets the knowledge. Initially, one lives from animalistic life. One has come animal yonis. From the pashu yoni, one has come into human body. One still lives with those similar tendencies, and slowly refinement has to happen. So for that, Shastra is important. So he says, so the mantras are created, which means the Veda, which is a Shastra. Then the tapas, the methods are created, which are upasana methods. For what? Vishuddha anta bahi karanebhya, to purify the mind, purify the senses, etc. Karma sadhana bhuta, and then also to work in the world as per one's temperament, etc. So the mantras are created. So 4, Rig, Yaju, Sama, Atharva. The mantra word indicates the 4 Vedas. Tataha karma agnihotradi lakshanam. Then karmas are also created. Agnihotra, etc. If one does, then one will accumulate punya and one will go to different lokas. Tato lokaha karmanam phalam. So the loka is the result of the phala of the daily rituals one is doing. Teshucha srishtanam praninam namacha. And then the people who are created, the beings who are created, their names also are created by Bhagavan. See that, how much spoon feeding Bhagavan does. Even names he has given. So what example is given here? Devadattaha, Yajnadattaha, ityadi. So in earlier days, people used to keep names which are either from the Shastra or which will remind us of some good quality or some nice, some good quality, or the Supreme Lord. The names of Bhagavan only are given. And based on whatever, the alphabet of the Rashi as per the planetary constellations and all that. So everything in our culture was connected to the divine. Right from the time you are born, before you are born, Garbhadhan onwards, to the naming ceremony and Janeu Samskar, Anna Prashan, this, that, all 16 Samskars, everything connected to the divine. Because the idea is we are divine and we have forgotten that. At any stage, if we remember and get connected to that infinite consciousness as our own true self, our job is done. So many methods are given in Shastra to connect like that. Evametaha kalaha praninam avidyadi dosha bija apekshaya srashtaha taimirika drishti srashta iva dvichandra mashaka makshikadyaha swapna drik srashta ivacha sarva padarthaha पुनः तस्मिन् एव पुरुषे प्रलीयन्ते हित्वा नाम रूपादि विभागम. Now you see, this is the connection between this mantra and the next, as well as this entire creation. This is the another aspect which I've said earlier also, that Vedanta thinks creation is not real. It is illusory. Science thinks it is real. Big difference. This creation is illusory. After explaining this whole sequence, what is said here, see that that is inspiring. It is, why is the creation there? Because of ignorance. Avidyadi dosha. It is the fault of ignorance that I am seeing the creation. It is not real. So these parts are created, these 16 kalas, they are created because out of ignorance I am seeing the creation, then I am asking about creation, then I am asking who is the source of creation. So what is the defect? It is like this. The two moons are seen because of what? The vision is blurred. So I see two moons. The moon is only one. I am seeing two. Because that is my fault in my vision. Same way, fault in our personality, avidya, kama, karma. Based on that, I am seeing the world as real. So all these, mosquitoes, bees, and all these which are created, this person is suffering from the disease called timira. Timira literally is ignorance only. Ajnana timirandhasya, we say, no? The taint, the black taint of ignorance, Ajnana timira, blinded by the taint of ignorance. So that taint is the disease of what? Ignorance only. Avidyadi dosha bija apekshaya. So to destroy that cause, the ignorance, Veda, mantra, and all those are created so that we can come out of that. But we think the creation is real, and then we want to prove that the scientific theories are there in the Vedas also, and so our Vedas are scientific. Purpose of Veda is actually very different. It is to get us out of creation, because this is not real. We are using science to prove the Vedas are valid. And what will that mean? Then creation is real. That goes exactly opposite, then to the purpose of the Veda. Purpose of Veda is to exit. For the person who wants to know the truth, Veda is that which helps us to exit from this ignorance and the whole delusion that is there in front of us because of that. So he says here that these are created by the blurred vision of a man suffering from disease called timira, or like all sorts of things created by a dreamer. So two examples he gives. One is the faulty vision where one sees two moons. Other is like it's like a dream. Nothing in the dream world is real. So, and these again merge into that very Purusha. So all these 16 which have emerged from Purusha in this order. Now the connection between this mantra and the next mantra is only this, the merging back. Emerging was given in this mantra, and merging back into Purusha is given in the next mantra. And by implication, if it is emerging from Purusha, it is sustained by Purusha only, and again it merges back into Purusha. Like the dream example, the whole dream world is created by the waker's mind. It stays in the waker's mind, it goes back into the waker's mind. Which means that creation is illusory, it is not real. Wherever these three causes are one, material cause, instrumental cause, and efficient cause, that creation has to be illusory. Like in the dream example, all the three causes are one. That has to be illusory only. If the three causes are separate, then there is some relative reality to it. Pot is separate, potter is separate, mud is separate, wheel is separate, potter is separate, and mud is separate. Then the creation of a pot happens. That has some relative reality. This dream, all the three causes are same. It has to be illusory. So creation process itself is illusory. That is what this mantra is saying. The creation is illusory, so the process of creation also is illusory. And so the merging, emergence is illusory, sustenance is illusory, merging also is illusory. From the highest standpoint, there is only one Purusha. There is no Shodasha Kala. Only Purusha is there. But I am seeing Shodasha Kala, so from Shodasha Kala, how to go to Purusha? By understanding this, oh, who is that Purusha? Is that infinite consciousness? How can it create? It can't create. And it is there in my heart as aham, aham, aham. I am not identifying with it. I am identifying with this. So I am thinking this is real, world is real, God is, the cause of all this. So now I am lost. But what is the Upanishad saying here? No. This emergence has happened from Purusha and they will merge back into Purusha, leaving their names and forms. So these names and forms are not real. They are illusory. That's the point between these two mantras. So actually in this sixth question, the entire gist of Vedanta is there in this, or the entire gist of Veda itself is there in this. Especially in these two mantras, this mantra number 4, 5, all these. So for today we will stop here. Purushe praliyante hitva nama rupade vibhagam. So the jivas, they give up their bodies, their name, and they merge into Purusha at the time of pralay. Again they will start next creation when it starts. So those things we will see in the next class. As long as this ignorance remains, these cycles will continue. But that doesn't mean that those are real. They are all born out of ignorance, so they are illusory only. So that's where we will stop. Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji, Pranam. Thank you for that beautiful analysis. So Swamiji, I may have missed this, but when Swamiji gave that nice way to remember 3, 9, and 4 for the Shurakala, can we equate that to then Jeev, Jagat, and Ishvara? 3 for Jeev, 9 for Jagat, and 4 for Ishvara, or is that?
No, we cannot do that. It's reading too much, because you see in the 9, Jeev also is included, no?
Senses.
Yeah.
Okay, Swamiji.
So the 5 elements, and then the prana, and then the loka, then the nama. Nama belongs to Jiva only, no? So that is not necessarily a division that we need to go by.
Thank you.
Swamiji. So, Swamiji, when it is said that in the last bit that the entire creation comes from Purusha and sustained and goes back to Purusha, so that stresses the point that this is a temporary manifestation of this entire creation, temporary manifestation. So, is it also even that idea that it's a temporary manifestation? Is that also a kind of a adhyaropa only, or is it because when we say that on the ultimate there is no creation? Then even to say that this is a temporary manifestation, that also be just an example of adhyaropa?
It is adhyaropa only, because from reality, from the reality we have given to creation, the next level is it is a temporary illusory creation, which will then be dismantled when we say there is no creation. So it is adhyaropa only, apavada of that will happen.
Okay.
Ajatavada is the highest. Then if one says, no, I mean, because from the reality one has given to the creation, if one suddenly says there is no creation, the person can't handle it. So it is said, no, it's an illusory creation. And that's a fact. It is an illusory creation. Like the dream example, that's why he gives the dream example in this, or the 2 moon example. The person who is seeing 2 moons is actually deluded. That's why he's seeing 2 moons. Actually, there is no 2 moons. Same way, one is deluded by ignorance, so one is seeing the world as real. So then go to next level, saying it is illusory. If I live like that this is illusory, then I want to know what is the truth. The truth is the substratum, which is the consciousness. So if I come to the substratum, superimposition will disappear. So that's why it is an adhyaropa only. It's an illusion. But this adhyaropa is not or what we can call it. So it is not just like a teaching aid. That's what I mean to say.
Okay.
It is a fact that it is illusory. It is not real. And the deeper fact is that there is no creation. So both are facts. The reality we have given to creation, that is a illusory, that is a wrong notion that we have. That is our superimposition. That is not true. But illusoriness of creation at one level and then no creation at the higher level, both are truth. So when we say Adhyaropa, many times we confuse that it's only a teaching model. It's not necessarily a teaching model only, because at this level it is the reality we have given. No? So then it has to be understood illusory before we understand it didn't come into existence.
Thank you so much.
Hari Om Swamiji. Swamiji, I just wanted to understand the Shraddha that we are talking about, that you spoke about. This is the Satviki Shraddha that we learn in the Gita, or is it beyond that, Swamiji?
No, the Satvik Shraddha only. Beyond Satvik Shraddha is Bhagavan only, no?
Acha.
The Satvik Shraddha will lead us to the divine. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So that Satvik Shraddha, whoever has, will get the jnana, meaning realization of the truth. After Satvik Shraddha, there is nothing higher in Shraddha levels.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it
got
is the Satvik Shraddha, yeah.
Thank you.
Shiraji, you have to unmute.
Hari Om Swamiji, you had earlier mentioned the name of a quantum physicist who follows the principles of Vedanta.
When see, Max Planck and Werner Heisenberg, they have quoted Vedanta also quite a bit, and I would have shown one picture
Slide.
one slide that I had shown. I forget. I'm very bad at remembering names. Actually, I will put on the group.
Patya, can we? Yes, please.
I will put on the group.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yes, Dipti ji.
Swamiji, the last paragraph, we said that the world is an illusion, okay, and to overcome it, he has given mantras and tapaha and all that. But even when the jiva is doing that, he still has that bhav that I am doing it, right?
So if that bhav is there that I am doing it, where I is important, that is where the sadhana will become slower, no? The whole bhav is to surrender that I. What helps me to surrender that I? That sadhana is what I have to choose based on my temperament. So for a devotee, Bhagwan is everything. So in that devotion, that bhakta loses the sense of I. So I am doing this puja, I am doing this japa, is not there. This is Bhagwan's name. I am just lost in the glory of Bhagwan, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Kriya, all that I am doing only absorbed in Bhagwan. So there one loses the I. The karta, the sadhak ahankar goes. Same way in Jnana Marg also, one says, I am a Sakshi, I am not the Karta at all. The sadhana is being done by this equipment, I am not the doer at all, I am the witness. So again, there one loses sadhak abhiman. Same way in Karma Yoga, one says that the cause is more important than I. I may or may not exist, but the cause has to be there. I will serve that cause. I will inspire others. In that, the cause becomes more important than I. So each one has to discover what is that where I can lose myself. That sadhana is what one has to do. So initially, yes, what you are saying is what happens, that one feels that I am more important. But as one gains knowledge, as one falls in love with that very ideal that one is worshipping, or the form, or the self, then one understands that the path is not that I should retain and I should get something. The path is I should dissolve, which is why knowledge plays an important role, which is why going to a teacher and getting the knowledge in the right manner, all that plays a big role. Then one has clarity. Otherwise, it is like you said, it will happen. All possibilities are there. I will increase. And then one say, I am such a great meditator. I meditate and I get this vision. And then the I has not gone yet.
Thank you, Swamiji.
So next week, I think we may be able to conclude, but let us see, whatever Bhagwan's Ichha. Today I thought I will do 2 mantras, but I did only 1. So either next week or week after, or whenever it will conclude, it will conclude. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.